All right, everybody, welcome to the Internet Sports Broadcast Network with Smooth Dave, Donovan Hughes, Todd Frank, and Hurdy Burke. Four guys like to sit around the kitchen table and talk sports. And tonight, we're waiting for Steve Conley to come on. Smooth Dave did it again. Got us a Pittsburgh Steeler person in here tonight. Can't wait to talk to Steve.
What's up?
And just enjoying this spring weather, man. It's nice.
Hey, I want to start off the show with some fun, okay?
Cool.
You ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
Those guys at NASCAR ought to quit using the I game. It's killed two of them.
Yeah. Hey, you can't fix stupid sometimes. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
Man.
Hey.
Got 2 casualties in 2 weeks.
Hey, and
we're talking about good drivers too.
Yeah. Well,
way it goes.
If you're an idiot, you're an idiot.
Yep.
It don't matter what venue you're in, you're still an idiot.
I'm just saying, just imagine that if they've just been still really racing and not doing that I-Series racing stuff.
Yeah.
They'd still be safe and secure.
Corona casualty. Yeah.
Dave, is that crazy?
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
He deserved it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Just nonsense. So
he needs to go back through his rehab and get his life together, and hopefully come back in with a different attitude, because he's toast. But anyhow, I thought I'd bring that up, guys. So what can I tell you? So, so while we're sitting here, because Major League Baseball would have kicked off, been kicked off, name me, Smooth Dave, name me your top 3 players that you've always loved to watch.
in baseball?
Yeah, just name 3.
Man.
Don't go too deep. Don't think it out. First 3 come to mind.
Derek Jeter.
All right.
Always like watching him. Also, talking about who else? Barry Bonds.
Okay.
Love watching him.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go old school and go with man. I've always loved watching him.
Okay. And Donovan.
Yep.
3 players you love to watch playing baseball growing up, or just any time.
Well, as a kid, I love watching Nolan Ryan being a Texas
okay.
kid.
All right.
I mean, I loved it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to give you 4.
All right, that's fine.
I'm sorry, but the Bonds, McGuire, I love that. Just watching that whole, or not Bonds, McGuire, but McGuire and I forgot the other. Sosa. That battle, and I love watching Bonds break the record. But I always thought Ken Griffey Jr. had the best swing and the pure hitter I've ever seen.
Good player.
Those are the people that I like to watch.
Right. Todd?
All right, so my first pick would be the guy that played the Wild Thing. He was very entertaining.
Martin Sheen, you liked him, huh?
Okay,
cool. Okay, cool.
Best movie players. Okay,
my number two was that Tom Hanks character when he played that coach in that movie.
Oh yeah.
He did really good.
You probably liked The Natural then.
Yeah, and then of course that other baseball player guy that has the extremely long movies, Costner.
Yeah, where he's the pitcher. Yeah.
Yeah. So
gotcha. Okay. Okay, and then we'll add for The Natural Robert Redford for you on that list. Okay, so a couple of mine were Hank Aaron, Brooks Robinson, Bob Gibson, and Tom Seaver.
Nice.
And Bob Gibson, because that's back in the days of baseball when if a pitcher didn't like you crowding the plate, you better get ready to lay on the ground.
That's right.
Because that's what Bob Gibson did to you. He threw hard and high inside constantly, and would drill and go after players who tried to crowd the plate, and he struck out tons of people because they were scared of him. And he had a mean fastball. And remember Brooks Robinson at third?
Yep, with the Orioles.
Oh, my gosh, was he good. Unbelievable what he could do at third base. And there's other players. There's Johnny Bench, Pete Rose, the Alou brothers, Orlando Cepeda. Let me see. Willie Mays.
Yes.
You name it. Gosh, dog. It was good back then.
Them Cowboys and Dak Prescott throwing the big party.
Oh yeah, that was controversial today, you know?
Come on.
I mean, they made a big deal about that on one of the sports, I think it was FS1 talk show today. They were making that like half the show.
Well, I mean,
Who cares?
you gotta be but you gotta be responsible this day and age. I mean,
I know, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean,
there's two, being 65, my age, it bothers me because the whole point is not to get this, right? So in a sense, I do feel like he should have been more responsible, but whatever.
Well, you know what? My take is sooner or later, everybody's going to get it. And as much as that virus mutated, even if they did find a virus for it, by the time it gets to be next flu season, it's going to be different than what they formulated it for. So the biggest thing is don't get it this year.
And I don't know.
I
don't think people are being based on the traffic I see on the highways.
But I'm just saying it's been life as usual, but with less traffic.
Which is nice. We're gonna get spoiled.
No, I'm already spoiled.
Yeah,
no,
I bet.
mean, when it comes back full scale, I might just quit. No, I'm serious. I mean, so
Quitter.
It's scary. Yeah, it's scary what you can get used to, right?
Yeah.
And when it's taken, and then it gets better, and then for it to get worse again,
reality.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might have to find something else to do when it hits.
Well, tell us about we got the draft coming up next week.
Well, they're floating everything out there. This is when all the general managers they start. Hey, I think we might just trade up, or no, I think we might just trade this pick. And this is when nobody knows what the hell's going on.
Right.
If you go back about 3 weeks, you can pretty much know what everybody's going to do. And this is the whole game, back and forth. And, they're saying Tua, several of the teams said, you know what, I think that he might not even go to the second round. I think I'm going to pass on him.
Yep.
It's all crap. I mean, he's got more talent than him and Burrow are the two marquee ones. There's a couple of guys that are up there. But if I was wanting a quarterback and I couldn't get either one of those guys, I would trade up. When I say trade up, I'd let somebody else go and hit some of the other guys.
Well, you got Cam and Winston sitting out there.
But yeah, but they're also locker room issues too.
I understand, but they're experienced and they're out there.
Sure,
and they have done well. I mean, at times.
No, they'll land somewhere. No,
sure you hope so.
No, they're going to land somewhere, but they're going to figure. These other teams have to figure out who they're getting in the draft.
Right.
And once that happens, all the dominoes fall. So bang, 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 bang. No, those guys will have homes before the season starts, and they're very talented, and both of them can be franchise quarterbacks.
Right.
They have the talent. Now, I don't know all the other stuff that goes along with it. Talent-wise, both of them could be they've been franchise quarterbacks.
Right.
But I think that both of them could probably get into a situation that they could be a top 10 quarterback again in the National Football League. When I say that, I mean Jameis Winston led the league in what passing yards,
intercept. Oh, okay.
And interceptions.
I'm kidding, but
no.
But seriously, they're both available.
Yes.
So they're there, and you imagine that either they're going to be picked up or they're going to get picked up when quarterback gets hurt in the middle of the year somewhere. So whatever.
Well, no, they'll be picked up before.
I noticed
they're too talented.
Dave, do we have?
That's Steve Conley.
Hey, Steve, what's up? There he is.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, we're great, man. Thanks for being on. We'll get Smooth to unmute his mic here and say hi. And thank you for joining us. Sorry you went through the hassle on this Zoom thing, man.
Oh no, it's the way of life lately, so I'm used to it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Well, good.
So, Smooth, to introduce our guest. We don't want to tie him up too much tonight, right? So let's let him jump on here with us. So,
all right. So we're welcoming to the show tonight, 1996 third-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers out of the University of Arkansas. Home is Chicago. Although he lives in Arkansas right now, we're going to claim him as Chicago people. We're going to welcome to the show Steve Conley.
hey, Steve.
Hey, glad to be here, fellas.
Hey, man. Listen, Steve. We are like four guys that just like to sit around kitchen table and talk sports. We're not your
Hey, in this time, any sports we can talk about right about now would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but we've been going through our withdrawals now for about 4 weeks, right? No Masters, no nothing. So no baseball.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We feel like we might all be in the same boat, right? So there you go.
Definitely.
Yeah. So to start with, Steve, tell us what was it like waiting to be drafted in '96?
Man, it was nerve-wracking, because I was projected to be a late first, mid second round pick. So when after the first, and I didn't realize the draft really lasted that long. Each pick takes, can take up to 5 to 10 minutes, and when I didn't hear my name called in the first round, and you got deep into the second round, and I had a lot of people over my house, waiting for this great opportunity that was about to happen to me, and it didn't happen the first 2 rounds. I started to get worried, like, am I even gonna get picked at all? But once my name was finally called, it was one of the best feelings I ever had.
Nice. And so you got to go to Pittsburgh to start your career. And what was that like?
I couldn't ask for a better team to go to outside of actually playing for the Chicago Bears, which would have been, just probably the ultimate dream to get drafted by your hometown team. But, Pittsburgh took a chance on me. The Pittsburgh organization, Rooney family, Coach Cowher, being the head coach at the time, I couldn't ask for a better situation to be in. I have nothing but great words to say about that organization. Everybody's there with class. My only regret is that I wish I could have stayed longer there and performed better, because I really felt like I could have gave them more if given just a little bit more time.
Gotcha. Man, interesting.
Wow. Was that an 87? Was that the 97 team or 98 team, Steve?
I was there at 96, 97, and 98.
Okay. All right.
So I got a. This is Donovan. So I got a question. So you were drafted, and I looked it up. So you came in the Super Bowl year or the year after?
The year after.
The year after. So yeah. Greg Lloyd, I guess, was your mentor, right?
Yeah, it was that year was interesting because I came into a team that was interesting. That was saying a lot of what they thought about me that year, because they had a team full of linebackers, great linebackers, future Hall of Famer linebackers, and Lavon Kirk, Glenn Chad, Chad Brown, and Jason Gilden, Osowski. They had a great linebacking core at the time, and Greg was definitely on his way out. I mean, if you asked him at the time, he probably wouldn't have told you that, but he felt it. He still had game, and he was still a leader in the locker room. But like myself, he actually got hurt the first game against Jacksonville. We had 3 linebackers go down with knee injuries that day, and I was one of them. So you went from a team of being dominant in linebackers to 3 linebackers who actually played that game, go down with injury. And but Greg was there. He was a leader. He was just intimidating off the field as he looked on the field.
My gosh,
he was a great mentor.
Oh my gosh, I got. Oh my gosh, I was a big Cowboys fan, and he was, and I hate to, murdering people on the field. Even back in '96, I mean, this is at the end of his career. Man,
Yeah.
I think he was one of the most feared linebackers I've ever seen. Even if you walked up to him in person, like seeing him just in pictures and video, it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Like,
he definitely played with a chip on his shoulder, man. He was a no nonsense guy on the field and in the locker room. Got a chance to hang out with him a few times to get him know him personally and to find out, he's just a family man. Like I wasn't a family man at the time because I didn't have a family. No wife or kids. Well, I didn't have a kid, but no wife at the time. But he was a great guy. Wish I actually could have got a chance to play with him longer before they moved on from him.
yeah. I mean, you were 6'5", 235 when you came in the league?
At the time, yes. Yep.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, that's for a linebacker. It's pretty tall. I mean,
Yeah, it was. The thing was my speed. I was real fast.
Yeah.
For that size and at that time being that fast and that height, it was definitely a plus.
Sure.
I wish I actually could have probably learned the tight end position. The more and more I learned about the NFL, because I think I really could have helped them there as well. But being that tall and that fast, it definitely was a plus, especially playing in the 3-4 defense when you got to drop in coverage at times.
Sure.
Yeah. Wow.
Very cool.
So you got to play with some awesome characters on that team with the Steelers. In fact, what's interesting is how you ended up in Pittsburgh was the trade involving Jerome Bettis. From the Rams.
It's kind of like I said. I said earlier. I was supposed to be a second-round pick, and Pittsburgh. Coach Coward told me that after that draft day, he said he was so ecstatic that I was still there in the third round because they were going to draft me in the second round. But right when they was about to draft me, up and told him that they was trying to get rid of but trade Jerome Bettis to Pittsburgh. I jumped on that opportunity to get Jerome pick, which I would have been in Pittsburgh. So I always tell Jerome he owes me about $300,000 because he took that out of my pocket.
Exactly.
He took that out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Or dinner for a lifetime. There you go.
but I'm an honest man, and that was definitely the right move that Pittsburgh made by getting Jerome. That was actually a steal in hindsight of what he ended up doing for that organization and that community.
The bus.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I imagine Steve being at the 6'5" and 235 coming out of Arkansas. That's a big player back in those days, wasn't it?
It was. It was crazy because I started football. I was only 86 pounds, I think, my freshman year.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't know what position they was going to play me at initially, and then so I had to gain the weight to compete at that, to withstand the football. But it was big, but because of my frame, it didn't look as big as you would think. 235 would look on a 6'5" frame. I mean, right now you got wide receivers almost walking around at that weight.
Yeah,
kind of crazy, and it's just the nature of the position right now to be that tall, and it's kind of where you got people who it's almost like basketball where you have you got a guy who can play 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 positions. Like LeBron James. LeBron James on the football field could be a wide receiver, a tight end, a linebacker.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna say corner, but he'd definitely be a heck of a safety, quarterback. You know what I'm saying? It's just the nature of the game and how you turn. Used to look big then. I mean, I might just be with everybody the same now.
Yeah, I was just saying back then that's a pretty big player in college, right? I know the level of bigness has changed. You look at people like Alabama and Arkansas, and these guys are huge today, right? So
and back then with that type of size, you weren't the traditional linebacker type because didn't they use you as like a DN sometimes?
Yeah,
rush situations.
Exactly. When I was putting on the size, I was actually trying to prepare my body to play a 4-3 and not necessarily a 3-4 defense. So I went in playing a defensive end. Then my last year at Arkansas, we got a new defensive coordinator named Jolie Dunn, who did great at Ole Miss as well as Memphis. And he came in and he basically not resurrected my career, but totally changed how I saw football and really played to my strengths athletically. And I credit his defense for people even recognizing me a lot my last year in college. So that definitely helped me out.
Nice. And when you were at Arkansas, you were a 2 sports star, right?
3 sports. Let's get it right. Come on.
You know
3.
what? Man,
Three.
you know what? I was leaving off basketball. So.
Oh, come on now.
I knew the track was. I knew you were a track athlete and football, but I'm sorry, man. That's my fault.
Yeah, you can't leave off that. I would say if anybody ever wrote a story on my career or did a Lifetime movie or Steve football, it's actually an interesting story. Arkansas actually came down here basketball and run track. You know, at that time, Arkansas was the best aspects, the best men's track organization in the country, winning Triple Crowns every year almost, as well as their basketball team being coached by Nolan Richards, the Sweet 16s and Final Fours every year under his tutelage. So I was a Razorback fan, came down here, made the track team, got 2 national championship rings with them my freshman and sophomore year. But my freshman year, after I was doing basketball, I had University of Wisconsin, Barry Alvarez, and I love telling the story about Coach Alvarez. He recruited me real hard to go to Wisconsin. I wasn't even thinking about playing football at the time. So hard. Actually, I was a wide receiver and told me I could be the next Al Toon. And I was like, who the heck is Al Toon? Right? So I looked him up and found out he was a 6'5".
Giants.
The Jets. What the Jets are Giants.
Oh, Jets. Yes.
Jets.
I know it's a New York team.
With
Yep,
Jets.
Jets.
With 6'5" with the Jets. And I heard about his career. I was like, man, I could be that guy. I can make that kind of money. You know what I'm saying? That's all I thought about. So I make the team at Arkansas basketball. I'm playing with Todd Day, Lee Mayberry, Oliver Miller. They got future first round draft picks on their team that I compete with. Coach Richard says, about to get ready to go to Maui. You made the team, and I'm excited. But all too, not even thinking about how good I'm doing on the basketball court, because evidently I'm doing well enough to make that team. So I was doing good. I ended up quitting a legit Final Four basketball team to go to a team that may win 1 or 2 games next year. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Nobody does this, right? And I go from living a life of luxury, the big man on campus, which was the basketball team, just entered the SEC and about to be everybody's punching bag this first year, a couple of years. And going in there telling I'm wide receiver, and they looking at me like I'm crazy because they don't have no film or nothing on me. But to come to find out in spring ball, they started me off a wide receiver. They're looking at my film in high school and looking at me playing defensive end. And they went to Coach Crow and, hey, you want to recruit this guy right here playing defensive end? He said, yes, we got to call him right away. Let's get him. Let's make this happen right now. They said, what if I told you he was already here, but he's on the other side of the ball? So during spring ball, they moved me to defensive end. And the very first play, so I don't have a clue about the schematic. I just did everything off athletic ability. So I said, what you want me to do, Coach? He said, all right, I'm going to see what you got, Conley. You're tall, you're skinny, but they say you got a little speed. I want you to see if you can get to our quarterback, beat our best our offensive tackle, and see what you can do. I said, okay. Hike the ball. I run past the time who was Jason Allen. I hear whistles going crazy. I said, son, you are hit my quarterback. And that's how I ended up being on the defensive side of the ball and playing football.
Wow.
Well,
Hey,
how
hey,
cool is that you played 3 major sports and you get drafted into the NFL? To me, that's
It's
just
crazy.
huge. That's just
It's
huge.
it's crazy because I didn't realize that, I still had the mentality of high school. I did
Yeah.
3 sports in high school. I didn't know I didn't know that wasn't even an option in college. And then
Right.
all grades that you got to focus on too while you're here. And it was crazy, but it was cool to say at least I experienced it.
Hey,
hey,
Steve, what part of Arkansas are you in? Are you located?
Fayetteville, North.
Donovan, you
So
had something. Go ahead, or
yeah,
Smooth.
go ahead. Go
no,
ahead, Don.
so like I'm a big Longhorns fan, and
Uh-huh.
that whole year with the May Day,
Oh yeah, Southwest.
they terrorized the Longhorns a couple in their era, and in fact Nolan Richardson, and he actually got a national championship with his hell,
Yep.
and I really respected their game, even though they hurt the Longhorns quite a bit a couple of times.
You know, that's my biggest regret in college because I grew up conference because my brother went to college here at Arkansas, and so I was a big Longhorn hater. It was a great rivalry between
Sure. Yeah.
Arkansas and Texas, and I always wanted to play Texas in football. And Texas, Texas had great football teams and never had a chance to play against Texas. And
Right.
that's one regret I wish I would have had a chance to do.
Yeah.
No, I totally get that. I do. But anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. I do remember that whole time which was great at that time. Man,
Yeah.
they were really good.
So speaking of your brother, tell us who your brother is.
Mike Conley, see? Yeah.
Mike Conley Sr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Conley Jr.
Mike Conley Sr. Yeah, he's out of love lately because since we don't have any sports on TV right now, they're starting to show clips of the Foot Slam Fest.
Yes.
There's people starting to realize, especially with his son being in the NBA, it means a little bit more to people seeing what what my brother, his dad, can do, and especially jumping for frying the free throw line like he did back in the day. So he's got a lot of YouTube followers right now.
Cool.
Yeah, I just saw some highlights from that Foot Locker slam contest with Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders in that, and I remember watching that live. I remember watching that on TV, and your brother was unbelievable.
They were for the first place winner, and this is crazy about it. Foot Locker already had it in play. If I did in '96, for me to end up going against him, the next year, but they just needed me to make it to the league first. And they ended up from the year I get drafted. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, that would have been the easiest money I could have made. And if I would have beat him, oh, you're talking about bragging rights for life.
Brother rivalry.
Yeah.
Hey,
your brother's
go ahead,
well.
Smooth. Hey, the hard thing about being on Zoom is we don't know who's talking and what, so forgive us, Steve. Go ahead, Smooth. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. So he's a Olympic medalist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Two-time Olympic medalist, 3-time Olympian. Won a silver in '84 and he's been they say he's the best long jumper, triple jumper, combination jumper ever to do the sport. Former world record holder indoor. So he can jump a little bit. He got a little skill.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good.
The free throw line dunk, bang.
Right. 2 hands at that.
Man, I've never seen anything live, actually, and I didn't realize how much I do now.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Sandy was only 6'1".
So, Steve, are you keeping up? This is Hurdy. Are you keeping up with the draft any coming up next week? And got any thoughts on that? Or
yeah, I have. I hated how a lot of the guys, won't be able to experience everything that goes with it. The guys who deserve, who earned the right to be the first round picks and everything that goes with that. But it's going to be real cool to watch it in a different format at the same time. I am curious to see. I always keep up with Chicago to see what they do, who they go after. I'm always looking at Pittsburgh. They're thinking that Jalen. People are saying this, that Pittsburgh should go after Jalen Hurts. Maybe he may be the backup to Ben Roethlisberger.
Yep.
So it's the wide receiver. This is probably the most talented wide receiver draft we've ever had. So you got probably 4 or 5 wide receivers who can be first round picks. The number 1 pick, it's just very skilled draft, as well as some great quarterbacks as well. So it's a real good draft this year.
And some good defensive players coming out in the first round too. Correct.
Yeah,
like
Auburn's
got a few they're putting out this year. Davidson.
I've always, we've seen this in basketball where there is the level between the high school basketball player and a good pro football and a pro basketball player. It's not that different. You can see a high school kid come in NBA and compete right away in basketball. In football, you don't see that. You see to take the best high school football player compared to an average NFL player, that high school player will get demolished.
Yeah.
But now what you're seeing in college, when these kids are there for 3 or 4 years, when they're coming out, it's not that big a difference a lot of times between a lot of college football players and who are great, as well as a lot of NFL players. So that's what's making this draft very exciting. I just think it's starting to merge a little bit as far as I'm thinking college football is steady getting better and better each year, and it's catching up with the NFL.
And where do you think Winston and Cam are going to end up?
I know where I had ideas, but every time I have an idea, they do something. I thought Cam was going to go to. I don't have a clue about Winston because I think that people are really. He's going to have to go in thinking he's a true backup right now, especially with the year that he has, and it's really up to him if he's willing to take that role. So I'm not sure what he's willing to do just yet. Cam, he still can be a starter. I thought he might have been competing at Chicago. Yep. I thought he was possibly. I thought Pittsburgh could have said something to him and said, "Hey, come in here and battle with Ben, just in case he ain't 100%." I thought he could have went to the Chargers, or of course New England. But everybody made moves to solidify their quarterback position. The only team that I still think about that he could possibly go to, he can possibly New England might try to finagle something to get him there. It's hard to say with him because you got a bona fide starting quarterback, but everybody for the most part think they're going into camp with their starter.
Yeah. Just wanted your thoughts on it. We're kind of curious because we're all batting the same thing. We're saying
I was really hoping he went to Chicago though.
Yeah, that'd been a great place for him.
I think it would be perfect fit.
Perfect place for him. Yeah.
But
he looked good in that Bears uniform too. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, he's an upgrade over Trubisky.
And then
every area.
And then you still got the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
A lot of people are thinking that Dallas may make a move and try to trade Zach somewhere during the draft, and that may open up something we can't. Who knows? I don't know.
That's huge. You think about that. That's huge. But the Cowboys had their chance to do something, with what they had, and I guess it is kind of scary that Jones may have to do that because they had 8-8 last year, or something ridiculous. Yeah. So whatever. We'll see.
Yeah, whatever he's going to do, I know he's going to go and try to get approval. It was even thought that they may try to sign Zach, trade him to Miami, and Miami give Dallas that pick, and the Cowboys end up with Tua.
Wow.
That's something that you might want to look at. I'm kind of seeing if something progressed during draft day. But I think Dallas is going to make some type of splash during the draft if they don't sign Zach.
Well, there we go. We'll bring you back on when that happens. How's that? We'll bring you back on after the draft and talk about that. So, Smooth, go ahead, man. We thank you for letting us tie him up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. So Steve, what are you up to nowadays?
I'm a personal trainer right now. My passion has always been working out and working with kids. I got a fitness place called Conley Fitness, and I also run I'm commissioner in Northwest Arkansas over AAU Football League, and I run a team called Arkansas Hawks Youth Football Program, which is an acronym for Hard at Work Kids. And man, we've got some great young football talent. Been doing this for the past 5 years, and man, that's one thing that warms my heart is working with these kids and seeing and bringing competitive football to this Northwest Arkansas area. And just so you know, we had a chance to. I'm 2-0 against the Texas All-Stars, just so you know. Last year.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, so 2018, I got a chance to take my 12U team down there against the 12U All-Stars in Texas, and we beat them in Jerrysville. And this past year, 2019, I took my 8U team down there, and we beat the Texas All-Stars. So, we hold on against Texas. I just have to put that out there.
That's awesome.
There you go.
That's the closest I'm going to get to play some Longhorn blood. Since I get to play him in college.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good.
So Smooth, you hadn't told us how y'all met yet.
Well, we met through a former teammate of his, Donnell Wolford.
Okay.
When Donnell went to the Steelers after playing with the Bears.
Right.
That's where I got introduced to Steve, man, and I'm glad that I had that opportunity because Steve's one of the coolest guys I ever met, and we not only because of the Chicago roots, but it turns out my grandfather used to run a company after he retired from the post office that literally is right around the corner from Steve's parents' house, right off 95th Street.
Wow. Small world.
Yeah. So Steve, we talked about your brother, your nephew's starting point guard for the Utah Jazz whenever they decide to play again.
He has a lot going on right now. He's currently in the NBA, the horse challenge that they got going on.
Right.
It performed well, the first time out. They'll pick it back up this Thursday. But, that's a tough transition getting it going to Utah. I say a tough transition going to Utah because I know he really loved playing for Memphis. And, they came so close to getting to the conference finals, losing against San Antonio during that time, during the grit and grind era. He could say he was part of something special for that city that's going to be hard to replace, that team that he had when they were at their highest point. Now he's with Utah, a team that can be a contender, like you said, if they get a chance to finish the season. I know everybody's focused on both LA teams, but I think the Nuggets and the Jazz are going to have something to say in the West as well. So it'll be interesting because I think Utah has a real good team, and I think they'll be a good opponent against either the Clippers or the Lakers if they make it to the conference finals.
Yeah. And your nephew had the nicest gym in the horse competition they had the other night because he was the only one that had an indoor hoop, and so he's my favorite to win it all. So
he may have the nicest gym in indoor personal gym in NBA right now. I tell you what, I've seen some pictures of it. It's pretty nice. Yeah.
So no, that's cool, man. And so and then with the team that you're helping run. You got a personal interest in that team, right? Yeah.
You mean with the Hawks?
With the Hawks,
I started. So my brother started the Arkansas Hawks basketball team, and we had, that's where Joe Johnson, Ronnie Brewer, Joe Johnson, my nephew Greg Oden, a lot of players came up playing through the Arkansas Hawks basketball team, who ended up being great NBA players. and I wanted to have that same. I wanted to give the kids the same chance to do this during in football. So I started the Arkansas Hawks football team, and I tell you, it's been a blessing to myself as well as a lot of kids to play the best competition in the state, get to travel, take them places that they might not have been able to go if you didn't have this opportunity of youth football. So and it gets a chance to teach them the game the right way, because football, as well, especially youth football, is getting such a negative rap because of concussions and things of that nature, that you get a chance to show parents that it can be played safe as well as be fun for kids.
Yeah, that's cool. And you got your son playing too, right?
Yeah, he's becoming a beast. I mean, that's one thing I could say doing this C-19 issue we got going on right now. It's bringing families closer together. I know we got our social distancing that we have to do, but once he finishes schoolwork in the morning, we hit our my brother has a personal gym that I take him to and work him out 4 days a week, and he's looking a beast. Actually, I got 3 sons. I have a daughter and 3 sons, and my oldest son is going to be huge, and my little son looks like he's going to be bigger than my oldest son as well. So I'm going to be busy for the next 15 years training. I got 3 clients that I'm investing in right now. So I think I got right for it.
Yes, that's right. Good. Excellent, man. Well, hey, man, it's been a blast. We appreciate you taking the time to join us this evening, and wish you much success. Stay safe, and we'll certainly be talking with you soon.
Thanks, Steve.
Sure, man.
Thank you, Steve.
Hey, have me on anytime. Appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks.
All right, guys.
Great interview.
Man,
good.
Good
guy. Great
Smooth.
guy.
I can't thank you enough for bringing on such, in today's age of athletics, we've had some of the nicest, coolest interviews on here of professional athletes. It's just been amazing. Nice guy, great family, great athletic family. That'd just be fun to hang around a picnic table and just tell stories all day.
Yeah.
I could spend 2 days listening.
Just listening to that, and putting it in, recording it, just put it in some sort of archive for the family. It's just unbelievable how athletic their family is. It's just great.
Oh, absolutely.
And the fact he played 3 sports.
Yes.
And gets drafted by the NFL, and he's this track star and basketball. Yeah. I mean, how in college, think about that. It's hard enough to play 1 sport.
Right.
And be dedicated to it. But to play 3?
Most people can't even play 1.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Let's just be honest. I mean, like 99.5 of us can't even play.
To me, that's just shows somebody's extremely athletic.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Very gifted. So.
Very cool.
Yeah, but Herdy, I don't hang out with just anybody. So.
No, I know you don't, man. You hang out with me. I'm the anybody, but
yeah.
But I'm just really thankful that back in 2005 when we had the ISBN Sports Network, right, that we had met and got together and before you had to move to Alabama, we got to do some shows because the chemistry was always really good,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And it's still good, and we still got these great guests, so it's just cool.
So since I was gone last week, but they're starting to schedule some future sporting events. So now the Masters has been rescheduled.
Yes, and what were the dates on that? Because I did not see the dates. I heard that they were rescheduling it.
I believe the date will be in November 12th through 15th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a tough time, man. I mean, I know it's still warm in Augusta, but
it could be cold.
That's cutting it. That's
Hey, they might have to do it in jackets. That's fine. I mean, it is what
So
it
in
is,
other
right?
words, what I just heard was with the other major bumping up so close to this one now because of these delays, and that they're going to move it to the end of the year after the season, to give it that last major.
Well,
Yeah.
It's cool. I love the Masters. I watched Tiger win it again on TV this weekend.
They've had some really, really cool rebroadcasts
Because they've been interviewing the guys that won during it. That's really that's kind of cool.
And I can't wait. I can't wait for the Michael Jordan documentary that's coming up next week.
Yeah, that's next week, right?
This Sunday. This Sunday night.
Is it
8 o'clock?
Okay. Yeah, it is.
8 o'clock.
Take notes, guys. We want to talk about that because
episodes 1 and 2.
That's cool.
And just to prepare you.
And since Dave is going to have Michael on here to talk about that after, that'd be really cool.
Man,
yeah, buddy.
You know what? I wish I had it like that.
I know. I'm kidding. Well, maybe a connection of a connection of a connection can,
Well,
he'll probably charge us to have him on. So
no, he wouldn't do that.
I'm just kidding.
I read today that he was concerned about how this documentary was going to portray him because of his drive and toughness to win, to be the best. And so not only did he push himself, he pushed all his teammates, and he may not come off in the best light. When you see it.
But you know what? Leaders don't necessarily worry about what people think.
Yeah.
Especially in sports. You always knew who your team leaders were.
Right. I mean,
you just did. You can't explain that. You just know who to listen to and who not to, right? You just knew who took over a team. I can tell you still who ours were.
I think that's the least to worry about when you look at his resume, his record, and what he accomplished. Hey,
he changed the NBA, man. He made a lot of people watch.
Yes, sir.
I watched his Hall of Fame speech, and he is what he is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but he is what he is, and he is dedicated to his sport, and he has a mindset of winning. And
he's an owner.
That's the way it is. I mean,
he's an owner. He's stuck with it. He's been involved with it ever since he left. I can't wait to see it. I think that's going to be really cool.
I guarantee you it'll be the highest rated show ever on ESPN.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. Yeah, because we're going to probably hear things we didn't know about.
Exactly.
And there is a UFC that is going on this weekend.
Oh, wow.
I thought they canceled that.
Unless I haven't been on TV.
No. Oh, no. Yeah, UFC's canceled.
They did cancel it?
Yeah.
The one on the island?
On the
yes.
Indian tribal grounds?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I haven't been on been on social media. I've worked all day today, so I don't know for sure. But so I guess so. Never mind then. There's not going to be a UFC this weekend.
All right, guys. Well, listen, everybody. Coolness. Now, I will tell you that we have a few blurbs during that, and I'm thinking that so many people are on Zoom right now. I have a gig coming in on my hardwire, and even with the gig, we still had some stutters through that show. Podcast. I'll try to edit as best as possible, so give me an extra day on the edit, but be aware that so many people are coming on the evening on this. It's tying up the bandwidth, okay?
Yeah.
So totally understand.
We do the best we can with it, okay?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I'll tighten it up. So
absolutely.
All right, guys. Anything else? Yeah.
Hey, so speaking of that horse competition, I couldn't watch it. It was terrible. It was terrible. Because what they did was they picked the people that were going to be involved.
Right.
They had them set up these cheesy cameras, and they filmed it. They had a camera set up on like a ladder, and then they had like a friend or family member with another camera filming from another angle.
Okay,
and
so two cameras. All right.
And they submitted the video to ESPN to edit. And then ESPN broadcast it Sunday evening, so it wasn't live. But what stood out to me is that the first event was Chauncey Billups and Trey Young from the Atlanta Hawks. outside courts. Chauncey Billup, veteran, made a lot of money in the NBA, certainly had a very nice court than this rookie, just starting out. And so to me, it just wasn't fair because of that. And then the weather.
So that's what you meant by by the court thing. Now I didn't see it, so I can't give an opinion on it.
You didn't miss anything. Trust me.
Okay.
I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it because it just was terrible.
I was just personally watching the NASCAR drivers getting crashed in the can again.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else, guys? No other new announcements except they're trying to speed up this coming back to work thing, but they got to be careful. And sports, they're making discussions. I'm still anxious to see if we're going to have baseball soon. That'd be great, even if they played in empty stadiums.
Well, they were talking about starting the season in Arizona with all the teams.
I know. I heard.
And
I don't care where they play.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
We need sports because Hurdy's getting really bored. Sitting at home. So.
Yeah. I've been playing my PS4. So
there you go. All right, guys. Well, anything else, guys? Todd,
You awake, Todd?
Oh, I'm here. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm ready for things to get back to normal. That's for certain.
I bet. And so Smooth, thank you. And we want to thank Steve Conley for being on, man. We appreciate him.
Yes, very much.
And guys, we'll catch y'all next Wednesday night. I'll get this edited up next couple of days. But everybody have a good evening. Todd,
Thanks, guys.
Donovan, Smooth, y'all have a good evening, and we'll see you next Wednesday night on the
Awesome.
Sport Broadcast Network. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.